thing is about this, I don't normally order things from Etsy places, Etsy locations online that are overseas. It's not that I have anything against them, because sometimes the pricing isn't that bad, or they'll do free shipping, and it's like, okay, if they're willing to ship to me here in the US. But the main problem I don't like is, one, it's expensive for them. I know it is. I mean, you can't ship anything cheap overseas. Two, I don't like waiting a month or more in some cases. This took, let's see, I let them know. I did a box opening of the original piece I got. You can probably see that somewhere online. I might even have it on here. Back in July. And I let them know, and they made some new pieces and sent them to me. So here we are, September. So it took a month or so to get them to me. So it's not a small undertaking to actually do this. And you know, if the product is what you're hoping for, it's great. But if not, the reship. Now, I'm starting to find is a common practice for a lot of these companies on Etsy. And so, you know, hey, the bar is being raised for customer service, but it's becoming a common practice that a lot of these companies will send extra minis to replace the minis, along with the minis that they're replacing. Typically, the issue is that something's broken. It comes in, it's broken. I'll show you the mini that I believe is meant to be replaced here. I have, it's an Abishai character. I may not even have him fully, let's see, where do I'm trying to find the original character that so this is one of the minis that they sent me before. This guy right here. So he's pretty cool. I like, you know, he's a cool little he's not a vampire. What do they call them? They're demon humans. He's a Cambion? I believe it's called a Cambion, yeah. I'm going to turn on an extra light here so I have a little bit more. A little easier to see stuff. Okay, so this is my Cambion. See, apparently didn't glue that on very good. But this is what he looks like. He's pretty cool. I have to glue he's holding his in. So, this is him. Kind of weird. That arm is his forearm. Looks huge compared to the rest. Look at this arm. That's a tiny little skinny arm. It's supposed to have some kind of a blade coming out, and I don't remember if it's supposed to be pointing backwards or forwards. But either way, there is no blade. And then you can see here that that his arm is totally bonkers. It's way big. I don't know why it holds the sword down. I don't even know if it's supposed to be holding it down or up. It just feels completely broken. Almost like that arm is supposed to be over here. I don't know. So I glued it on the way I could. But I told him that I let him know that there's something wrong with this guy. So we'll find out, because hopefully if they reprinted it, it's going to be correct. And it'll have the right stuff on it. One of the minis I got was another Abishai. Very cool figure. But it had now it wasn't broken. There was nothing wrong with this piece. But it only attaches to the base by this tiniest piece of its tail. And it takes like zero pressure to break him off of the base. And that became problematic for me too, because it did actually break off the base, and so I glued it back on because the tail broke. So, problem with resin, it is not durable. Okay, resin pieces are fragile. I think Weird Minis, I think they make their minis out of resin as well. You can do some amazing detail work on resin pieces, but you're going to have problems with fragility. you got it. Like I had one this one here, this mini here. I had the company sent it to me 3 times, and the third time it came back right. It had actually other printing problems the first time or two. The second time it was just broken on this tip, and I just kept saying, you got to stop sending it padded right there. They still sent it padded, but it came in finally the third time without it being broken. And I was showing it to my wife the other day because she's going to use this figure for her for a D&D campaign. And while she was handling it, it broke off anyway. It's just the tip of the arrow. It's just so thin and fragile, and you can't do fragile pieces. It's just, resin is not meant for it, and if it's not got a certain amount of girth on the sharp sticks like arrows and knives and swords and arms and wings and whatever else that they've got going, they're gonna break. It's a sad truth. It's really hard to take care of them that well. Yes, you can, but if you're gonna play with them and they're not gonna be painted, they're gonna be played with minis like D&D. I wish you luck. Some of these really cool figures just aren't meant for it, and this is why I think a lot of the resin printings, a lot of these companies online, Etsy and whatever else, since they're doing these 3D printings on, wow, okay, so he was only sending me one replacement, but I've got 4 pieces of plastic. I think he might have, I think he did send me a replacement, an additional piece, but this is a lot. I don't know if he sent every piece wrapped like this. He might have, like, if there's an arm, an extra arm, he might have, a separate arm, he wrapped that up separately. They're just not resilient enough to actually withstand day-to-day life. So, good luck. All right, so let's get this going. Let's get these through. This is the first piece of this opening that I have here. And I don't know if this is a replacement piece or part of a piece. I don't know what. Yeah. And we have, I think it's just a part. Yep. Okay, so this, holy moly. So we got the 2 wings. Don't know which guy this is. Is this the same guy? Yeah, I think it's the same guy. Yeah. This is his left arm. All right, so this is the arm. This is the arm that that's supposed to be. Note, this is printed in 28 millimeter instead of 35 millimeter. Look, very clearly a smaller arm. So it was printed in the wrong scale. He printed this hand in probably the default scale, 32 millimeter, forgot to adjust it for 28 millimeter, and resulted in giving me a much bigger arm. So this is what the arm is supposed to look like. Tiny little piece here. And then these are the 2 wings. So this is just the parts of that guy. But it does look done and not broken. That's good. And I'll open up the next piece. Still don't know what I've got here. Looks like some more parts. Nope, this is him. This is the actual character. Now notice he does have actually a sword on the backhand, and it is pointed backwards. Again, the original piece and the broken piece. You can see the original piece had, it's kind of weird, this is a lot more black. He printed this one in like a black, I don't know if it's primered, but maybe this one's not primered, I don't know. Or maybe this one is primered, that one's not, I don't know. But either way, obviously there's supposed to be a sword on his back, on his hind arm there. And I'm guessing once I pinch that other hand on there, that other arm will look just fine. So there's the Abishai that they replaced for me. And I'll be looking forward to painting that guy. And I think he's supposed to be a black Abishai. I think that's what they're called, Abishai. I'm still looking for that other piece. I hate not knowing where something is. I get so distracted by it. I'm like, it's like, I don't have, these pieces don't have far to go. It's like, I have specific places I put stuff. So it's like, where is it then? How did it manage to find a way around my... And when something's broken, I always put the pieces like someplace that's safe so it doesn't get more broken. Now this might actually be, surprisingly enough, I opened all the parts to the same guy. I had 4 pieces here, and somehow I managed to open up all of his pieces. Oh, he just resent. Huh, interesting. They resent me the same, they resent me a guy that I got already. I don't know why. Guess just because. So now I have 2 of them. I have, because I have this guy, and he sent, and this is one of the ones I originally had. See. Again, this one is more black. It's funny because the old one was the gray one, and this one, and it was more gray, and the new one is black. I don't know what the difference is between the gray and the black, but it's slightly more different, slightly different coloring. But as you can see, same guy. So now I have 2 of them. So now I can have a gang. These guys can gang up on somebody. As a DM, you never worry about having too many monsters, because there will always be an opportunity to throw 2 monsters at somebody instead of 1. Especially since I feel like the campaign I'm running is not strong enough for the people who are doing it, because they always seem to just run over everything. And they're not exceeding the scale. I mean, it says they should be level 5 for this or level 4 for this. And they're in the range. In fact, I think sometimes they're even small for the campaign, and they still manage to do more damage. Okay, so this is a character that was not in my original design, but she's kind of cool. A barbarian axe-wielding chick. She's a very hardy-looking character. This is probably a good one to print. Very unlikely to break. She's thick, like a barbarian would be expected to. Of course, as a woman, she's got a tiny, tiny waist. But beyond that, it's actually kind of a cool fig. So it might be kind of interesting to paint her up and get her ready for some fighting as well. I'm not exactly sure what that... Is she marching? What is that? What is that pose? Just high stepping it? She's looking over there like maybe she's twisting. It's like it's like you see these poses, and some it's going through the author's or the sculptor's mind. You're trying to figure, what are they seeing there? What is that pose? It's like, are they... I'm coming after you. I'm going to high knee you. I'm doing a quick twist towards you. Is that a... Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting pose. I mean, it's going to look fine, and when you paint it, it's going to look kind of cool. But I don't know what that... I don't know that sculptors actually consider the realism of the pose. It's like what you almost never see one of these little sculpts as is what they call the hero's pose. When they jump down from somewhere and they land with one fist on the ground and one knee on the ground. And it's like they landed on one foot. Why? I don't know. Because. But they call it the hero's pose because only heroes could land that way without breaking something. But it's just, so there you go. There's my little box opening. I didn't find the one mini I wanted to show you that had a tiny tail that broke. If they were going to send me a second Abishai, I wish it wasn't the one that was... I mean, I'm thankful. I appreciate it. There's no reason, I'm not complaining because you sent me something I didn't actually pay for. So it's awesome. And both these guys are pretty cool. I'll take them. I don't believe I had any issue with this one last time because I told him about, the This one actually has a better mace. See, the mace on that guy's bent. And you can't bend these back. Again, resin, super thin. You try to bend it, it will break. This is not plastic. When you can thin plastic, you can just bend and tweak and do whatever you want with it. It may not stay there, but it's gonna bend and probably not break. This guy, he's got his bent range. So the one he sent me is nice and straight, so that's cool. But otherwise, looks good. I mean, I'm not too worried about that. It wasn't that big of a bend. It wasn't one of those things that's gonna haunt me. It's like, oh, I wish it wasn't crooked. And then the Abishai he sent me, very good. These are the X case. Check them out. They're these cases here. This is I don't know if you can even see them all. There are 6, 8 of them together. They're attached in the middle here, and they attach vertically, horizontally, back to back, front to front. You can create wall displays, put them on the wall, hang them up. If that's the kind of thing that interests you, we do have clear ones we want to get printed again because we have sold out of all of our clear ones. They all have clear front opening doors, but check out the Active Minds games on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can see some videos on YouTube. Instagram has lots of videos for Active Minds games as well. Facebook is what we are using to track our following as far as when we launch our Kickstarter. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you're interested in getting some cases on our Kickstarter when it launches. Can't promise the date yet. We got to reach a certain point. We're looking at about 500 to 800 followers. Right now we're about 300. So about 500 to 800 people interested in seeing the X case hit the market again, get repopulated in the market as we've sold out of everything that we had, or most everything. We've got some mage cages left, which are exactly like these on the outside, but have a ribs on the inside, which work really good for 25 to 32 millimeter figures. And we have magnets for those as well. Actually, several of these are mage cages. Let's see, I think I've got 4 of these. Actually, a lot of these are. No, actually 6 of these 8 are mage cages. So I use them all the time for my minis, as you can see. They work great. They hold a lot of minis. You can put them on the top, magnets on the top and the bottom. We have flex iron. We have the magnets. And if you already have magnetized minis, we have metal bases you can stick on the inside of the X case to hold your minis in place inside the case as well.